Good morning. Let me, at the outset, thank GeoTV and the Board of Investment for organizing this important conference. Also for affording me the opportunity to address such a distinguished gathering of industry leaders, diplomats, government officials, media representatives, and experts on finance and economy. A candid and informed discourse on the state of the Pakistani economy, its challenges and opportunities among the widest possible spectrum of interests and opinions is both timely and essential. It is important because all too often the true picture gets distorted in the face of informational overload, driven at times by hyped-up rhetoric and at times by pessimistic assessments about where we stand, where we are headed, and where we ought to go. A realistic appraisal, hence, is in order. Ladies and gentlemen, a key task of Pakistani diplomacy, any diplomacy for that matter, is to work to create a peaceful external environment so that long-term developmental goals can be advanced in earnest. In short, the ultimate goal is to deliver peace and prosperity. The notion of economic diplomacy, nonetheless, goes farther. It connotes proactive outreach and robust engagement. Concisely, it is about leveraging a country's foreign relations in the service of its economic and development goals. As a concept, this has been around for quite some time, but it is for the first time that a government has put muscle on the idea, placing it at the highest pedestal of our foreign policy priorities and assiduously working out the details. In the context of Pakistan, economic diplomacy means 10 specific things leading to 10 specific agendas. 1. Enhancing Pakistan's exports and increasing our share in the international market, both in the sectors of our comparative advantage and nascent fields, with promising prospects of growth. 2. Integrating our manufacturing and industrial base into the global value chain by attracting foreign direct investment through greater ease of doing business and forging partnerships in strategic sectors of the economy. 3. Overcoming economic headwinds by helping create the fiscal space needed for long-term policy adjustments. 4. Working the lawful migration corridors by securing and expanding employment opportunities for Pakistanis abroad and ensuring seamless inflow of remittances. 5. Prudently utilizing official development assistance and donor support for national development to achieve sustainable development goals, particularly to plug critical infrastructure gaps in a manner that is environmentally and fiscally responsible. 6. Prioritizing technology and investment by indigenizing knowledge and ensuring technology transfers on favorable terms. 7. Promoting tourism as a foreign exchange earner. 8. Giving impetus to various projects on connectivity, from transit and multi-modal transport to energy or digital domains. 9. Working closely with other stakeholders on the current terror financing track to arrest terror funding and preempt threats to our financial systems. And 10. Extending no strings attached economic support to to developing countries in humanitarian assistance, education, capacity building, and scientific collaboration. Last year, in December, I had the privilege of co-hosting, along with advisor Razak Daud and Chairman Harun Sharif, an Envoys Conference on attracting foreign direct investment and promoting trade at the Foreign Office. The huddle brought for the first time private sector representatives, corporate heads, and financial experts on a common platform with our envoys from key capitals. Over a period of 2 days, we held extensive deliberations on the state of our trade and investments and what needed to be done. The outcomes which were presented to Prime Minister Imran Khan, who graced the concluding session, illuminated the way forward. Among other things, it recommended adopt a whole of government approach, operationalize the one window concept, address investor concerns, and expedite redressal of trade complaints and disputes, devise country and product-driven trade and investment strategies, involve the Pakistani diaspora, and tap into the venture capital and sovereign wealth funds. This was only the beginning. Going forward, I intend to oversee a pivot towards economic diplomacy, wherein the Foreign Office works embedded within the federal government matrix, but also increasingly with provinces and private sectors as an enabler, facilitator, connector, coordinator, and troubleshooter. In the 9 months of Naya Pakistan, I believe we have achieved tangible, measurable outcomes. Allow me to elaborate. 1. Whether it is peace and reconciliation in Afghanistan or peace overtures to India, we have been on the peace offensive. In Afghanistan, a serious push towards dialogue has been made possible by efforts by Pakistan along with other stakeholders as part of shared responsibility. All the while, we have kept our allies and partners engaged and informed. While India has been raking up tensions with Pakistan as an outcome of the BJP government's electoral arithmetic, Pakistan has managed to contain the crisis by acting with great responsibility, utmost restraint, and iron resolve. The Kartarpur spirit envisioned by Prime Minister Imran Khan lends credence to hopes for a fresh push for dialogue and diplomacy once a new government is in place in New Delhi, hopefully soon. 2. Where needed, we have reinvigorated relations, imbuing them with a renewed spirit of cooperation and partnership. With China, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, Qatar, Malaysia, and Iran, our relations have assumed a stronger economic dimension. I accompanied Prime Minister Imran Khan to China recently. The visit witnessed 2 seminal developments that gave great impetus to our trade and connectivity agenda. Firstly, Pakistan and China decided to enter the next phase of CPEC, which will see establishment of special economic zones. The special economic zones envisioned to be fulcrum of future waves of industrialization, with investments from China, Pakistan, and other countries. Secondly, we inked Phase 2 of Pakistan-China Free Trade Agreement. The agreement gives Pakistan concessionary market access across a range of tariff lines, affords robust safeguard measures for protecting of domestic Pakistani industry, and carries balance of payments support provisions. If Pakistan is able to capture even 10% of Chinese market share in priority products and lines, this would translate into a surge of our exports worth billions of dollars. The China-Pakistan Free Trade Agreement, too, has been designed specifically keeping in view the imperative of plugging Pakistani industry into China's value chain and attracting foreign direct investments in the special economic zones. 3. Pakistan has secured from friendly countries balance of payment support to the tune of some $13.4 billion, which includes direct placement of funds with the State Bank of Pakistan, outright grants, trade concessions trade concessions on oil on deferred payment facility. 4. Big ticket investments are also lining up. Saudi Arabia's Aramco has committed $20 billion to set up an oil refinery in Gwadar, and the UAE and Qatar are eyeing investments of a comparable magnitude. During Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad's recent visit to Pakistan, contracts worth some $900 million were concluded. 5. Qatar has recently established visa centers to expedite uptake of 100,000 Pakistani workers. Bahrain is opening up a special nursing college in Islamabad to enable Pakistani paramedics to capture the overseas demand. I was in Japan a few days ago, where one of the major takeaways was an agreement we recently concluded to train and upskill Pakistani manpower, a first step towards granting greater employment opportunities of our human resource. 6. You must be aware of ExxonMobil's return to exploration activities in Pakistan and the offshore drilling activity that is currently underway. What many are not aware of is that according to the USAID assisted study, Pakistan has an estimated 95 trillion cubic feet of recoverable shale gas and some 14 billion barrels of recoverable shale oil, making them amongst the largest in the world. If we are lucky. 7. Concerted efforts are being made to promote tourism. Visa issuance has been made easier and cheaper with the introduction of e-visa and visa on arrival facilities. A few months ago, under the auspices of the Foreign Office, I had the pleasure to launch the Gandhara Forum. The forum will focus on promoting spiritual tourism to Buddhist sites in Pakistan. 8. In partnership with relevant stakeholders, we are institutionalizing economic diplomacy planning. One area of particular focus has been science diplomacy, wherein emphasis is being placed on creating linkages among counterpart institutions. Distinguished participants, if some of the most powerful and resourceful countries of the region are linking up with and investing in Pakistani economy, it is time to take full advantage of the exciting opportunities opening up in Pakistan. It is time to invest. Thank you.